Welcome to our proven CRM sales routes and places. What are routes? Well, the CRM system allows users to establish and create routes for marketing purposes. A route is a visitation plan for a particular day that allow sales team members to establish an optimal organized plan for making set scheduled route stops. Organizations and contacts can make up a route. These routes can also be created and assigned to another salesperson. Each scheduled visit can be tracked and notated in the proven CRM system. Before we begin the session, let's review a few housekeeping items. All attendees have been muted for the duration of the session to cut down on any background noise. Your videos have also been turned off during the session to avoid any visual distractions. The recording of this session will be available via our PSA Help Library in addition to our company YouTube channel. Lastly, any questions you may have regarding the content of today's session can be directed to our PSA support team. Support can be reached at support@canamsys.com. On the agenda today, we are going to look at role permissions to access routes, regions, and places. We're going to look at the places option. We're going to create a new region, and then we're going to create a new route from places. And then we're going to take a quick peek at routes in the mobile app. All right, let's navigate to My Company. And in My Company, we are going to go to Permissions. And then in Permissions, we want to select a role. And in the Routes option, just hit that plus sign. You'll see My Routes, Regions, and Places. And there are 4 permissions in total: View, Update, Insert, and also Delete. And for somebody to be able to create a route, they are going to need the insert. If you need them to edit, then have the edit, and then view, obviously, to be able to see the routes. And next, we are going to look at regions. To access regions and or create a new region, navigate to Route. And in the upper banner, you'll see Regions. Now, when you are first creating a region and there aren't any regions set up in the database, you will have an option that it'll be start a new region. But if you have already set up regions and you want to use somebody else's regions, you'll have the option to do that as well. We're going to create a new region by going down into Manage My Regions, and then we're going to hit New Record. Now, the title can be anything, like a region, an area of where you're going to want to build a route from, so you can definitely call it anything you want. And then the pins, this color selection, is going to show that region on a map, and the contacts, organizations, or jobs for that matter in that area. So I am going to make a selection of and then hit save. And then you'll see your region up at the top here, and I'm going to click on the word region. And then I'm going to go into by city. Now, your database, this is a Canadian database, so it's saying select a province, but if it's American, it'll be select a state. So what you want to do is come into the drop down, pick your province or state, and then it's going to display a number of cities within your province or state chosen. So I am going to start typing, and it's going to give me some options to choose from. I'm going to pick a city, and then I'm going to hit Add Selected Cities. And what this is doing is it's grabbing all of the available zip or postal codes in the area that I just chose. And I can choose multiple cities, that you can have as many as you want, and the postal codes or zip codes will be pulled in for that region. You can also create a region by either a zip or a postal code. So what you can do is come in here, and if you did a Google search, you could pull in and copy and paste zip codes or postal codes in here. Now they do have to go from left to right and be separated by a comma. So you can set up a region with a combination of cities or zip codes. Now we also have the option here to use the map. So you would select use the map, and what will happen is a map will load up, and once the map loads up, then you can narrow your search by coming in and dragging using the mouse or the track wheel on your mouse. And then what you can do is you start making a spot on the map by clicking, and then you can click again and then again, and it's capturing any possible zip codes or postal codes within the area. And once you do that and you hit done, what it's going to do is it's going to grab all of the potential zip codes or postal codes, and as you can see, it has placed them in the format that's we need. And we can hit add postal codes if we wanted to add them to this region that we've created. And back in the region's main screen, we can see our newly created region, and the pin color, this is a different region, but this is what I was referring to with the colors. So you can readily identify the region from looking at the map. Next, we're going to take a look at places. We're going to stay in the Routes module, and next we're going to select Places. Places is a new feature within our system that allows you to find, using keywords, organizations that you may not know about. So again, we're going to come back over to our map, and we're going to get drilled down by using the track wheel on my mouse. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a spot on the map. So this is where I'm wanting to make my search start. And then what I can do is back up here, I have three options in the radius. I can use miles, I can use meters, or I can use feet. So I'm going to choose miles, and I'm going to drag my mouse. Now I'm drilled out pretty far, so that's why it's not looking like it's moving anything. But I'm going to make it even bigger. And then I'm going to use some keywords. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can manually type in a keyword. You have the ability as an administrator to set up new keyword types. That's what these are. We've made these. All types are tags that we have taken from Google. When companies register their company with Google, they actually put tags so that it's either point of interest or the type of business that it is. So I'm going to choose insurance agency, and that's what I'm going to do my search from. If you are an administrator, you can come into manage my places, and we'll look at that in just a moment, but I'm going to do a search. Once a search has been completed, the system will identify whether or not there is an existing record within the system. You'll see these highlighted in green are telling me that all these organizations currently exist in either my leads module or in organizations. You also can select the ones that you want to create if you choose to. You can either use the select all or individually select the organizations. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can see two options. Save as lead, which means it's going to create a lead organization for me, or save and route. So it's going to create the lead organizations, and then it's going to create a route for me for all of those organizations that I choose. And as you can see, our route has been created from those lead organizations. Now let's take a look at the routes module. When first logging into the routes module, you will be taken to the main route list, and this list will be comprised of all routes that have been created, when they were created, by whom, and the last time they were updated and who updated them. To go into a route, an existing route, just click on Details, or you can hit Create New Route. So we're going to create a new route, and you'll notice there is an option up here to put in a route name. So what you can do is enter in the name, and then the next thing you can do is you can choose one of these four options. Add my office to route. What it'll do is it'll pick up the office address within my company. Add my address to route. That will pull in the address that you have on your user details inside of your account. And then select a contact or select organization. What that will do is it'll start your route from a specific contact that you choose or an organization. I'm going to click on Add My Office to Route. And from here, what I want to do is go into the silhouette, and we're going to pick from either contacts or organizations, or a combination of both. And if we choose to, we can also utilize one of our regions that have been set up. So if I was to choose, for instance, Toronto, it's only going to display those records with a Toronto address. Now I can do some further filtering. I'm on contacts. I can search by a contact name or maybe organization, or narrow it down even further with an address. On the contacts, we have business development types to choose from. And if we slide across here, we can see the salesperson and other options to filter by. So if you really want to narrow things down, you can come in to the salesperson field, and it will only show me the organizations that belong to that person. And in the organizations option, similar to contacts, the name of the organization, address, but we have industry type, which is another way to filter down. And then you can also build your route from a lead organization or just an organization. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick a bunch of companies. So I'm going to narrow down my search here and see what I can find. And as I'm selecting them, you'll notice that it's populating the list on the other side of the screen. And I can choose, if I made a mistake, I can uncheck this checkbox, or I can come across here and I can hit the trash can. But I'm just going to grab a few more just so it makes for a better route. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to hit Done. But I'm going to go back and see if I can find some other contacts to pick from. And I'm going to do some narrow down searches using my BD type, golfing. So I have a couple of people in here that I can go visit as well. Now, the route system will only allow you to build a route containing 26 stops. And the reason behind that is every stop will have a pin on the map and will be represented by a letter. And of course, we only have 26 letters in our alphabet. And theoretically, if you have a starting point of, say, your office or your home address, that's narrowing it down so you only have 25 stops. If you choose more than 26 stops and you hit done, the system will tell you that you have too many stops in one route and do you want to make a second route. And if you say yes, the system will split that route into two. So just bear that in mind, that we want to make sure we keep it to under 26. And then hit done. And so what it'll do is it will start to map for me where I'm going to start. So my letter A is our office, and that's sitting back behind here. Now, sometimes Google doesn't always get it right. So we're going to come into route settings, and we're going to click on optimize route. And when I hit this, you may see some changes. And indeed, we have seen Google came back with a better, more efficient route for us. Now, with that being said, I can make changes to what Google chose for me. I can do that, and it'll change up the map. Now, if you hit optimize, it will take you back to what its suggestion was. You can also review any notes that have been applied to the organization, and you also have an option now to get rid of this if this was a stop that we didn't want in this route. We're going to go into the route settings and just talk a bit about them. In our first setting, assign and send link, what that will do is it will allow the user to assign it to themselves, or if they've created a route for somebody else, they will be able to see it within the mobile app. So we're just going to do a search here and look for this route or my name and select and say yes to the question. So that route has now been assigned to my Kristen Davies, and they will be able to see that in the mobile app, which we're going to look at in a few minutes. Now, the key piece to this is you must have your mobile phone number in your user details. So coming up here to user details, so we need to have a main phone number, and we also have to have an address, your home address, if we're going to be routing back to our home address. So let's go back into our route, and we're going to look again at some settings. Route history, we'll come back to this once we go into the mobile app, but essentially what the route history does is it shows you when there's been activity, whether it's adding a note to a stop within the route or choosing the start, pause, or complete. And again, we'll look at that in a few minutes. Back into our settings, add my address to route. I can now add my home address if I choose to my route if I want the system to map me back to my home address. Route notes is going to show all notes for the that have been created while running the route, and then there's all notes, so regardless of where it was created. You can delete the route from here. You can print the route, and this will give you a list of all of the organizations and contacts that have been set inside of the route. Printing route directions will give you the step-by-step, stop-by-stop, and the organization or contacts names. Add a new route. You can start a new route from here. We talked about the optimized route. Clear route will actually remove all of the contacts or organizations, And then add my office to route will actually add my office to the route, and it will make it my last stop. And assign history is merely just going to show who's been assigned to this route. And then down at the bottom of our screen, we have our transportation options. So travel by car, walking, taking a bicycle, taking a bus, or a train. You can tell the system that you want to avoid highways, tolls, and ferries. You also will automatically set to miles per hour or kilometers per hour, depending on your residence. And then you can also ask the system to hide or show traffic within the mobile app. And that's where we are going to go next. Here in the mobile app, we have the option to select My Routes. And in here will be a list of all of my routes and the ones that I am assigned to. And we can see that I have been assigned to this real estate company's route. So I'm going to go into there. And I can scroll through and see all of the organizations that I have in my route. I have the ability to start, pause, or complete a route if I wish. It's not necessary, but inside of each stop or each organization or contact, you're going to see a number of icons. We have our phone option, which will open up your phone on your phone dialer on your mobile device. The map option is going to take you out of the route and into your default map option, whether that's Waze, Google Maps, iMaps, but it'll open up the map option. And then we have add a note. And this is a quick way to add a note to our organization or contact record. And then I can visually see all of the notes, but only the notes that I've made with using this option. When you're using the add note option, it's going to apply the topic route note to that note when it comes into the organization or contact. Now I also have a remove option. And that remove option, when selected, is going to ask you, do you want to take this out of your route? And what it does is it takes it out, but it doesn't take it away. It actually puts it here up in messages. So when I click on messages, it's going to ask me, do I want to roll back the route? And if I say yes, it's going to put that stop back in. So it's really just a temporary way to remove a stop out of your route. And as I was mentioning with map, we can then click on map and it's going to open up whatever map application I have in my phone. And then I use the back button on my phone to come back. So I've finished my stop. Now I want to add a note. And this add a note, I can utilize voice to text dictation if you have it enabled on your phone, and you've also enabled the app, but you can also type in your message. And then once I've made my note, I can hit save. Now, if I want to use an actual built-in note topic that we've put into the system, like your business development note topics, you can go into the organization record directly and by selecting it and then scrolling down and coming in here and going to notes and then adding a note and choosing the topic that you want. But if you use it the other way, it's going to be the topic route note. Now back in the web on that route, if we go back to our gear icon and we click on route history, the current date that you had activity is going to populate. But if you come over to view all dates you will see there is a tile for each and every date that has had activity, whether it was a starting of it, or pausing, or completion of the route, or any notes. They will automatically put a tile inside of the route history. And the nice thing about that is I can click on it and it's going to display what activity happened on that date. And that concludes our session on routes, regions, and places. Thank you for watching, and if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact our support team, support@canmsys.com.